All right. Well, we're continuing our podcast with Chris Daubert, who's our Dean and Vice Chancellor of CAFNR. And we've been discussing about our drive to distinction and the great strides that we've made in our students. Our number one priority are students.
Students are our number one stakeholder.
They really are. That's part of the land grant mission.
That's correct.
But the other part of that is research, both our basic and our applied research. And this is where we've made some great strides also. And but there had to be some pain that goes along with that. But there we had to have a restructuring. We had to look at how we were doing things. And the models that were set up 50, 60 years ago don't always work today. And it was almost like ripping the Band-Aid off. But first, we had to make sure we were ripping it off the correct way.
So when we talk about the land grant mission, and for our listeners, just allow me to talk a little bit about that mission, because it's in our DNA, isn't it, Tim?
It is.
It's really what our college has always been about. We'll never waver in our commitment to that land grant mission. But when we talk about that mission, it embraces education. Land grant universities were established to create opportunities of affordable education for the masses. So certainly a commitment to instruction and to students is core to who we are. Research is another one of the land grant missions, and we have a commitment to ensuring that our research enterprise is strong and serves Missouri very, very well. And then that third mission is the extension mission. In CAFNR, we don't just consider students to be 18 to 22-year-olds that live here in Columbia, Missouri. We consider every Missourian our student, and so our extension programs allow us an opportunity to take what we do here on our fields, on our farms, in our laboratories, in our classrooms, and to extend that out, to take that out to every Missourian, and to help address their needs and their concerns. So we have a real commitment to those three missions. In addition, I oftentimes would talk about a fourth mission of the land grant, and that's economic development. We have a responsibility to help all Missourians, especially those associated with ag and natural resource programs, to be good business people, to be entrepreneurs, to help their operations be profitable. So to really help drive the economy of the state through its ag and natural resource programs.
Because that's changing, ever changing. And we need to help lead those changes.
Well, 100%. And our number one industry in the state of Missouri is agriculture. $93.7 billion industry. Easily number one in this state. It drives our economy. Number two, you know what it is?
Tourism.
It's tourism, and that also resides in our college. So CAFNR is home to the number one and the number two industries for the state of Missouri. But if we're going to continue to use agriculture and natural resources to drive the economy of our state, Tim, we're not going to get more land. Our natural resources are locked, if you will. We're not going to get more access to land. We can do this by expanding the value of the commodities that we extract from our land. So we have a number of initiatives around value-added processing of our commodities into the things that you and I use each and every day.
Because we don't want to just ship them off for somebody else to value add them. We want to do them here in Missouri too.
Right. So one of the things that I did in another state was an initiative that I led around food manufacturing. And when I came here, I saw similar, if not greater, opportunities here for our state. And let's see if I can summarize those ideas with a story. If you look at me, and this is a a live podcast. I like ice cream. I think that's pretty obvious. And so if we think about what a half gallon of ice cream costs, if you'll just oblige me, let's say we pay $5 for that half gallon of ice cream. So if you've ever made ice cream, you know it's cream, it's sugar, it's maybe some berries and some nuts. Those are all the different basic ingredients, those commodity groups that go into that ice cream. Again, if you'll agree with me, all of those ingredients maybe cost $1. All right? It's the transformation of all of those ingredients and the processing of those ingredients into the ice cream that adds the value and allows us to pay $5 for that half gallon of ice cream. In Missouri, we're doing an outstanding job with the first dollar, with all those commodities, those basic ingredients that goes into those things. But we're doing a great job, too, in sending all those things out of state and allowing other states to process and to recover those extra $4. Our initiative here, the Food, Beverage, Forest Products Manufacturing Initiative, is about helping Missouri keeping all $5 here in our state, adding value to the commodities that we grow here in Missouri.
And that's a challenge that we're addressing and making some progress on it. I know some slaughterhouses, for example, have opened up here in Missouri.
We have a large beef processing unit that is being constructed outside of St. Louis right now. It's nearly $1 billion investment. It's going to hire, I think, employ 1,300 employees. So those are really valuable, important, meaningful jobs. Really important for the economy.
And not only the jobs, but the producers can get more dollars for their product, and that's important too.
Let me also acknowledge Dean Rob Kallenbach, who's our Associate Dean for Extension. Rob does such a brilliant job. He says that all of Extension, Ag and Environment Extension, has one job. They're united by one thing, and that is to double the economic impact of agriculture by the year 2030 without compromising its precious natural resources. So Rob and our extension colleagues, they've embraced the importance of a commitment to value-added processing.
It certainly has. So that lays the groundwork, but we needed to improve our research capacity. You've invested many dollars here on campus, and also invested dollars out in the state.
That's right.
How did that come about?
Once I was here for about a year, Tim. We had a chancellor at the time who had a vision for our campus, for the university. And his vision was to double the research expenditures within 5 years. And at the time, Kaffner was generally the number one college on campus in terms of research expenditures. And for the listeners out there, an expenditure is a dollar spent to support the research activity of the college or the university. And so Kaffner was leading the campus. But the chancellor at the time challenged all the leaders on campus to double their expenditures within 5 years. Now, I remember sitting in that audience thinking, what are you talking about? We're already leading. How could we ever double? And we started looking at the data, Tim, and I started studying the amount of research awards coming into Kaffner, and then the dollars being spent, the expenditures. So awards are dollars coming in, expenditures are dollars being sent out or spent for research. And those two things were about even, roughly $40 million. Tim, they had been pretty much level for a decade, which means we weren't really building and growing our research activities. And when the expenditures and the awards align or match up, that means you're pretty much spending everything that's coming in.
And not growing.
And not growing. That's well said.
Because there's a lag. There's
always going to be a lag.
Uh-huh.
There's got to be a lag. And so we thought, well, let's see what we can do, and let's see how we can expand and invest in the research enterprise for the college. And so we started looking at certain strategic hires. We started looking at what we needed to support our faculty and our staff to be more successful in getting higher amounts of funding into their programs, into the college. And about that time, we brought Shibu Jose, our Associate Dean for Research, into the college. And he had a great vision for how to create an infrastructure to help faculty and staff be successful in acquiring greater research awards. And in the strategic plan, again, the drive to distinction, we set a goal that we were going to double by the year 2025 our research awards and expenditures. And so, as I already mentioned, when we set the goal, we launched the plan in 2019. We hovered around $40 million, and so both awards and expenditures. And so we set a goal to double by 2025. And this past fiscal year, 2023, it ended June 30th. We achieved $115.2 million. We nearly tripled the awards for our college, an all-time high, but we nearly tripled the goal. And that number, $115.2 million, makes us the number one college of agriculture in the north central region of the United States.
Wait, now we've got Michigan State, Purdue, maybe?
Purdue,
Iowa State,
Kansas State, North and South Dakota, Illinois, Kansas State.
We are leading them.
We're number one. Minnesota, Wisconsin.
Wow.
University of Missouri, Kaffner. We're number one.
And we don't tell our folks about that enough, do we? This is exciting.
Friends, this is what I'm saying.
We don't, yeah.
We're so much better than what we think we might be. And I am very fond of the Missouri hospitality and the Midwestern humility, but this is an amazing college, a great place, and it's the great people that have helped us achieve. But that was $115.2 million in awards. We still have a goal to double our expenditures, and we're still hoping that this is the year that we take our expenditures from $40 million to $80 million. We're currently at an all-time high. We're around $65 million for the last fiscal year. That's an all-time high in terms of expenditures, but we think and we're hopeful that this is the year that we reach that $80 million mark for expenditures.
Now, you've done this through collaboration within the college.
Coordination, cooperation.
Oh, my goodness.
Providing support for our faculty and staff in terms of grant writing teams. I think when I started here, we may have had one or part of one FTE, a full-time equivalent dedicated to helping our faculty and staff prepare their grants. Shibu has invested. Today, I think we have 5 FTEs to support our faculty and our staff. One of the important aspects, and I think it's important for us to go here, within the research umbrella of Kaffner is the Ag Experiment Station. And oftentimes people think that Ag Experiment Station is only the research centers and farms. That's an important part of it. Don't get me wrong. It's a critically important part to the entire research Ag Experiment Station, but it embraces also research programs throughout the entire college. In fact, any faculty member that has a research program tied to the agricultural or natural resource mission can be part of our Missouri Ag Experiment Station. But our farms and centers are an important component to the experiment station. And for my first 2 to 3 years, I visited numerous times each year. Tim, you and I spent a lot of time in the vehicle together, driving all over Missouri. We got to know each other really well. In fact, there's a story there that maybe it's best if we don't
want to talk about that. We don't want to.
Friends, we spent a lot of time in the car together. But I got to know our research centers, our farms, the people across Missouri extremely well. And I learned that there were opportunities for us to do a better job coordinating activities, research activities across all of our experiment stations. And I knew it was going to be a heavy lift. Because at the time, we would pretty much brag that, we had 22 or 23 centers and farms all across Missouri. I mean, that was a point of pride for all of us that we have all of these farms and centers across Missouri. But the fact of the matter is, though they were doing important work for their locations, there was a lack of coordination. In fact, we might have had duplication of efforts happening at different locations across the state. So we set forth on a plan to review the experiment stations. We brought in a team of experts, experiment station leaders from across the country, unbiased people that could take an honest look at how we were doing things here in Missouri at our centers and our farms. And they conducted an evaluation and an audit and a review of how we were doing things, and they presented us with a report. They made suggestions. We involved internal groups, leaders, staff members, faculty members here on campus to help us review how we were doing things at our centers and farms. And with all that information, we set forth on a plan to restructure the experiment station, specifically our farms and centers. And about 2 years ago, we launched that plan, and we're today consolidated around 4, what we affectionately refer to as REECs, Research Extension Education Centers. And each of those REECs is led by a director with a staff underneath each of those REECs. Today, the administration engages with the leadership of each of those REECs every single week. Those directors, the leaders of the REECs, the directors, they all work very closely with each other and with the college. We're not duplicating effort, and we have much greater efficiencies and coordination across all the REECs that are happening today. And so things are trending in a really, really good direction. We still have work to do. That restructuring of the experiment station was the biggest administrative lift in my entire career. Easily the most challenging, largest coordinated effort to bring restructuring efficiencies into an operation, into an organization, and just the mere scale of it all, the fact that every single one of these farms and centers has people associated with them, has legislators associated with them, just the mere and the massive scale of that coordination was a huge undertaking. But I'm proud of Shabu Jose for his leadership, for you, Tim, and all the leaders that understood it was the right thing to do and it was the time to do it. You know, it's easy to kick things down the road, right? It's easy to keep kicking the can down the road, but when you see that things can be done differently and it's important to do things better, we stepped up to the plate and did the heavy lifting to do that restructuring, and I'm proud of where we're going.
Well, I work with the other states administrators across.
That's right, you do.
I do, and I'm going to a meeting next week with them, and we use those connections for a part of our review, and many across the United States talk about doing a restructuring. Several have had reviews, but I think Missouri is probably the only one that has totally did it. Some just keep kicking it down the road partially, but we did it.
It's because it's a lot of hard work.
Yes.
And you're 100% right. In fact, probably you, but I know Shabu is looked to and he's called upon to give speeches, to give talks about what we did here at the University of Missouri. And we're really looked to as a land grant model for how to restructure an experiment station. And again, there's a lot of people to acknowledge and to thank. You're one of them, Tim, but I'm really pleased of that restructuring. It's not as though everything is done. We still have work to do, but things are going in a really positive direction.
They really are, and the collaboration across the disciplines is even more tremendous than it ever was in my career.
I agree,
and it's just not our research centers, but also even our divisions are changing.
They have changed. So, for our listeners out there, Kaffner's a bit different from many other colleges. About 35 years ago, leadership in the college, I don't know, maybe it was longer than 35 years ago, but leadership in the college saw an opportunity to eliminate departments. They saw an opportunity to, again, and I use this word a lot today, but they saw an opportunity to bring efficiencies into how we were doing things within the college. And so they eliminated departments and brought those like-minded units together. So, for example, where I used to be employed, there was a poultry science department, there was a dairy science department, an animal science department. Well, the University of Missouri had the vision, the forethought, and they brought all of those units together and they formed the Division of Animal Sciences, plural. And so we are structured a little bit differently. We have today 6 divisions with leadership provided by a division director. One of our divisions is a school. It's the School of Natural Resources. It also has a director. Dr. Pat Market is the director of our School of Natural Resources, but we treat that as a division of Kaffner. So we have 6 divisions, and they're each like-minded disciplines, all together in one division.
And some of those that you've pulled apart of one division into another division because of how things are progressing,
right?
Like plant sciences.
Yes, so plant sciences faculty from that division saw an opportunity when they looked at the future. They saw that their farmers were needing access to students with technology expertise, and they saw a program, Ag Systems Technology, in another program, and they thought that if we brought technology and made it more closely aligned with plant sciences, that it would be a stronger division. And we agreed, and so today one of our divisions is the Division of Plant Science and Technology. Now, when we started our conversation today, Tim, in the previous segment, we talked about my background as a food engineer. We had another division, Food Systems and Bioengineering, that also went through a transformation. Engineering got repositioned into the College of Engineering. And we have great colleagues and friends in the College of Engineering here at the University of Missouri. But at the same time, nutrition was in another college. Well, we saw an opportunity for nutrition to return to Kaffner, and we created a new division, the Division of Food, Nutrition, and Exercise Sciences, and we affectionately refer to that division as FINESS.
What else would you call it? And that goes on to this other, the drive to distinction. You said that we imagine a healthy world,
Yes.
and One Health is our vision or our goal. And this, one of the things that we're talking about is that was a healthy person or a healthy environment or a healthy economy. CAFNR is all part of that.
We span that entire spectrum. So if you think about the system, we start with our precious natural resources, the air, the water, the soil, right? And from those things, we have production programs, the plant sciences, the animal sciences. And from those production programs, we create the commodities, and then we have the food science programs that transforms those commodities into the things that we use and eat each and every day. Today, we have the nutrition programs that extend those processed products into health, into medicine. Meanwhile, that entire system, that pipeline, that food pipeline, is given foundational and basic knowledge from our biochemistry faculty. And not to be outdone, we have another division in our college, the Division of Applied Social Sciences, that studies how that entire system interacts with people, with society, with communities. So that in a nutshell describes who we are as a college, and it's really about creating a healthy world.
And not only within our college, but outside our college, even the medical school. The collaborations with our medical sciences are increasing.
It increases all the time. We have amazing faculty that study how the animal system, for example, how it can be engineered and designed to interface with medical therapies and treatments. So, for example, within animal sciences, we have a group of livestock geneticists that can engineer pigs with certain diseases, glaucoma, for example. And then those pigs can be used by the School of Medicine to study treatment techniques and surgical techniques. But the opportunities on the health side creates great opportunities for the college in the future.
I just heard just the other day from Shabu Jose, our associate dean of research, how they're building a new $10 million building for a lot of this medical agricultural research interaction, and then also hiring even more medical physicians. Instead of transporting our technology to other parts of the United States, we'll do it right here. The heart transplants, for example, can be done right here.
It can be done right here. This is a tremendous opportunity for us to engage more closely with the School of Medicine, biomedical opportunities that our faculty can conduct with our friends in the School of Medicine, a real opportunity for that program.
So our impact is not only for farmers and the 6.2 million people that live in Missouri, but for everybody all across the world.
Right. And the research, that biomedical research, can lead to other benefits that can improve the animal ag industries as well. So right. There's tremendous overlap and tie-in.
Tremendous. Now, one other thing I noticed on my strategic plan is about wore out. Like you said, we use it every day.
That's right.
This is what we refer to. This is our, if you want to know something, just turn to this. But 2019 to 2025.
That's right.
What happens after 2025? What's going to happen? Well, that's next year.
Yeah. So my thinking is that in a year from now, we'll be gearing up and thinking about what the next version of our strategic plan might look like. What could that be? Path to preeminence? I don't know.
Well, we probably in 2019, at that time, didn't realize some of the paths that we would go down. How our technology would take us, how everything would take us.
So effective strategic planning is nimble. right? And it's able to adapt and adjust. If a plan is done properly, it allows for administration, for leaders to be flexible while it's being implemented and executed. And though we've achieved a large amount of what we set out to do, there are things that perhaps we can still do better. And as we think about the future for where we're going, I think we have a better idea of what we can do with the united and shared vision. And I'll be excited to see what the next version, what the future strategic plan will look like.
I am too, because it's hard to envision what another 6 or 8 years is going to be like with the changes that we've seen already.
I know it.
Tremendous changes.
But that's, you started the segment talking about leadership and the conductor being able to orchestrate and to get all of these different voices singing together and making beautiful music. With that plan, we've been making beautiful music together. This music has been glorious. It's getting louder.
Yes.
And, we have more exciting building projects going on right now than we've ever had in the college. Not only here in Columbia, but across the experiment station, out at our centers and farms, more exciting opportunities for construction. Facilities and infrastructure are improving. This is a really great time to be at CAFNR at the University of Missouri, and it's been a great time to be dean.
Well, thank you so much for your leadership. It's just been tremendous, and sometimes we see it happen, and we don't realize how much has changed because we're part of this change.
That's right.
And what we're doing today, getting the message out to folks, is so important.
It's been exciting.
And thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, Dean Daubert. Dean Daubert, Christopher Daubert, our Vice Chancellor and Dean of our College Food and Natural Resources. Well, this is it for Tim's Take, and this has been very exciting, and just wait to what we get the next 7 or 8 years. We'll see you.
So long, everyone.
No, that is exciting.